Is it about the 5-year contract? Is it about him saying to the NFL, stick it up your NFL? Or is it about Bill Belichick saying to himself, he's going to make some history? He's going to show Robert Kraft, Tom Brady, and all the owners, including you, Arthur Blank. Yes, that's right, Arthur Blank. You had an opportunity to hire Bill Belichick and make this segment, poof, disappear. But instead, you went a different direction, back to the comfort zone that you had in Atlanta. And Bill Belichick went right to the microphone. And he filled up his calendar, and he realized, I really miss being an architect. Because he was being a guest on a bunch of shows and making a bunch of money, thinking about his next move, and enjoying dilly-dallying with whoever it is that he would like to dilly and dally. But truthfully, what he loved was teaching men. Sometimes young men, older men, pros, college, didn't matter. And then, when college became just like the pros, he had not 32 teams he could think about. He had about 200 teams he could think about. So when forging a partnership with North Carolina, how do you do it? What do you start with? It's one word, and it starts with C. It's called control. Bill Belichick will be in complete control. So much so, he hired a GM to come with him. That's right, college teams have GMs now. Don't forget that. Very important. Mike Lombardi gets off the air, and he's doing a show on Vision, and he says, Bill, you're offering me to get off the mic and become the GM of a Division I ACC team that's been basically down in the dumps but has such a fantastic name, facilities, possibilities, and you get to run the entire program? Well, we're going to need one more thing, Billy Boy, before I come with you. We're going to need some support. And I don't mean the thing that old people use where you get your back support or a walker or anything like that. I'm talking about enough support to bring the salaries that will be paid to the players from $5 million last year up to $20 million this year. That's right, what they're calling NIL increase. No, it's really what the salary of the team will be. He was given a $20 million number, basically quadrupling. It's really tripling 5 to 20, but 15 plus 5. But people say quadrupling because 5 times 4 is 20. Doesn't matter. 5 to 20. What's he going to do with that money? He's trying to build a program. You have to listen to some of these quotes because I couldn't believe it when I read it. Let's start with what he said. Bill Belichick himself. I'm excited for the opportunity at UNC Chapel Hill. That's like when you go to Wisconsin, you have to say Wisconsin-Madison because God forbid you think it's Stevens Point. Not that there's anything wrong with Stevens Point, but UNC Chapel Hill. I grew up around college football with my dad and treasured those times. Boy, isn't it true that all sons, like me, are always trying to figure out how to get the approval of their father, how to figure out how to maneuver around so that you can not just be yourself, but have a light shone upon you and have the father looking over you saying, I approve, Billy boy. His hiring is going to cause something that I'm not sure we're going to talk about in a lot of different shows today, but I wanted to talk about it here. Before I get to some of the other quotes, I'm sorry, Coca, I just want to get to this point. Can you imagine if what college football, what we thought would happen and what we have basically talked to you about with salaries and with no salary cap, no union because the Dartmouth union is a mess, the college basketball players? Can you imagine that there's no collusion so anyone can talk to anyone about any amount of money that's been given to any player? So it really is about who your alums are. You talk about varsity blues. Varsity blues was something where people were getting into college without having the bona fides to get into that college because people were lying about what they did or what their extracurriculars were in order to gain college acceptance. Some people went to jail, some people lost their ability to make a living, But at the end of the day, this was about universities trying to find an end around to stuff their class and their teams. There's no more end arounds anymore. If you are from a wealthy family, and I'm talking about not the top 1%, I'm talking about the top 1/10 of 1%, you basically get your pick of the litter, and not in the way that you used to, that required some sort of donation to the endowment or to the capital fund of the school. Now what you will be asked to do in order to get yourself into a school is donate to the students themselves. Not the scholarships, but the actual salaries that the players will get paid. Think about what the recruiting is, not for the athletes. Think about the recruiting of the wealthy kids. Come to UNC. I want you, I want your whole family. And look what you're going to get for your $1 million. You're going to get the number 1 5-star quarterback. On top of that, you're going to get access to the players on the field, and you'll get to hobnob with Bill Belichick. Well, what about that is a problem in your mind? Nick Saban looked at the future, which he knew was coming, and he said, I don't want to be a part of that. It's as though Nick Saban said, I don't want to be the coach of a professional team, which is why you'll start seeing the flow go the other way. But this year we saw Jim Harbaugh go from Michigan to the Chargers. I think what you're going to see going forward is NFL coaches, whether they're the top assistants, and I don't mean the Eric Bieniemys who couldn't get it done at UCLA. I'm talking about the ones who want the type of control that is not being handed out the way it used to be. The type of control that Vrabel wanted before he got canned. And now that type of control is available in an atmosphere in college where you get to deal with the top players and you get to treat it actually like a team. We say the portal, which is open now and has record number of students. I keep calling them students, Coca. That's not right. The portal, which has a record number of employees. No, I keep calling, they're not employees. Hold on, we'll get the right word. The portal, which has a record number of athletes playing on college teams, switching from team to team as they shop their 1-year free agency to get the highest number. You're seeing the player movement in a way that you don't get to see except in my dreams at the big league level. And the result is that there's no affinity for the actual player. It's just affinity for the actual team. And that's exactly what we wanted to do in professional sports. We wanted people to love the front of the jersey and not the back of the jersey. We wanted people to have reckless disregard to whether or not a player came, a player went, was he signed, was he not signed. But something got screwed up along the way. Where in professional sports, people were all about the player and who it's going to be and how long they're going to be there. College has it right. It doesn't matter who the player is. It matters, do you make the CFP? It matters what your payroll is going to be. It matters your performance that particular year. And then that's it. This signing by Bill Belichick, believe me, this is the start of a major wave and trend that is going to find heads of college programs with total control over the program they decide to join.